And so Jesus didn't need to heap more condemnation on her. What she needed is what he gave her, and what he gave her was grace. When you think about what Jesus gave her versus what the crowd gave her, do you know what the crowd did? They disgraced her. Jesus graced her. The basic definition of disgrace is to deny someone grace. They were denying her grace and they were disgracing her. Let me tell you something. Knowingly or unknowingly, we disgrace people all the time. We disgrace ourselves when we can't accept the forgiveness that Jesus gives us. When we still walk in shame and condemnation instead of just receiving gratefully the grace of God. We disgrace a loved one when we remind them of their past and we shame them about that thing and we make little cutting remarks to remind them of what they did. That's disgracing them. We disgrace our employer when employees talk behind their boss's back disrespectfully about their boss. That's disgracing them. We disgrace our children when they bring home a report card and they're like, "You made a C? What's wrong with you? Why can't you be an A student?" We disgrace strangers when we talk about them. Who does she think she is? Look at her. Who does she think she is? We do it all the time. And here's the problem. It's not just that we're part of a culture that disgraces. We sometimes join in with it, thereby revealing we don't even get God's grace. We don't understand it. We don't really know it, because if we really knew the grace of God, we would be so thankful for it, and we would be gracious towards other people who are sinners just like we are. Wait a minute, Pastor G, you just crossed the line. I'm not a sinner like those other people. Oh yeah, you are. You're even worse. And you know why you're even worse? Because if you have a thought like that, your problem, in addition to whatever sin issues you struggle with, is now pride. And John Calvin said, pride is the pregnant mother of all sins. We all need God's grace. We all stand the same height at the foot of the cross, desperate for His grace. You know the only reason? Well, there's two. There's two reasons why someone is not grace-giving to another person. One is because you don't know God's grace, so you can't extend what you don't have. Or two, you do know God's grace for yourself, but you think your sin is not as bad as theirs. Those are the reasons why people disgrace others. Because you either don't know it at all, so you can't extend it, or you know it, but you think that their sin is worse than yours, so you're not going to be gracious to them. I have news bulletin. We are all in need of God's grace equally. Do you think for a moment, if you were standing there in the crowd in this story on the day that this whole thing happened, do you think for a moment that after Jesus said what He did, you'd still be standing there with a stone in your hand ready to pelt this woman? I highly doubt it. Walk away. Drop the stone. We're all in need of God's grace. Amen?